Today I had a little, work training. Got to the DEI section, and then there's a couple of things that I realized quickly about DEI is that it's a twisted game, and the way it works and the conclusions that I came to about it is that essentially what it felt like is, and essentially what it was, you know, teaching racist whites and white supremacist whites to not be racist, right? Which the people that are of ethnicity or of color, I mean everybody has ethnicity, but the people that are of color, uh, we know that. I mean that all the things that they talk about in these DEI trainings are very simple to us, but to white people they're very difficult. But another thing that I realized inside these DEI trainings is that they explicitly call out certain groups and try to get them to be more white in their, you know. So not only is it a quest to make white people more tolerable, but it's also a quest to get the quote unquote diversity hires to be more like the people that they are, the people spaces that they are, entering. Now, I mean, this is troublesome and very odd, right? I mean, I think it's, to me, it's not surprising. You know, this is just how the European operates, and I think this is this is this is like, I don't want to say it's elementary, but I think it should be. This is something that I will be talking about on my channel often and a lot, which is the mindset behind the European and how greedy they are, and just how conniving and manipulating, and just really how they truly get down. Um, and I think this is like, this scheme of what DEI is supposed to mean, and what it actually is, and how it actually operates in practice. Like, it's so subtle, but if you're paying attention, it's obvious. Um, the way that they frame questions. So one of the questions that I had was essentially, they gave me a scenario and they even played a video, and they's like, okay, Cassandra, overhears some coworkers talking a little crazy about, another one of their coworkers that isn't in the room, and them taking a day off because of a religious holiday that is very specific to her. That she just gets that day off because it's her religion, blah blah blah. They're talking a little crazy about it, and Cassandra is like, she's a little uncomfortable by it. She thinks it's odd, and you know, they give you the question: should Cassandra, which is played by a black woman, by the way, this is a very important part. That's why I brought it up. She's played by a black woman, and the question goes: should she A, tell a higher up and refer to HR and let them know that she felt, what was said anonymously or not anonymously, or should she B, mind her own business? Now, the phrasing of this and the wording of this and the kind of implications of this, I think anybody who's black, anybody, like, I think it's kind of obvious, like, what a actual black woman would do in this situation, what an actual black person would do in this situation, which is mind her own business. But obviously that's not the right answer. Obviously that's not the right answer. Clearly the right answer was to tell a higher up, because that's what HR is all about. That's what the whole training is about, is to get you to be more like that. So they train you, they give you these answers, and if you get it wrong, oh, that's not the right answer. Although these are questions that it really is up to the person. It's literally up to the person. Like it has nothing to do with. But that's the point. They're trying to train you to be like to make you think like, I'm gonna tell a higher up instead of I'm gonna tell a higher up instead of just minding my own business, which is a cultural thing. But it's crazy that this culture thing is anti-black. This is how you know they don't know black people, because if they knew the culture of black people, they know. Now, one thing that black people do all the fucking time is mind their own goddamn business. That's a black person's, and especially a black woman's favorite phrase. Mind your own goddamn business. Mind your own black people business. You feel me? So it's like it's not like they don't know this, because they are like they clearly said it. Like they that wouldn't be an option if it wasn't Cassandra. You know, it wouldn't be an option if they weren't. They're trying to call out blackness and say, hey, don't be like this. Be white. Tell a higher up. You know. And on the flip side, a lot of their questions trying to quell racism and intolerance is by giving definitions to these things. So like they call it ethnocentrism, right? Which is they call it this term, and they give it a definition, and they give you a question, basically like giving a scenario or giving a like you know a sentence, and you have to fill in the blank, or they're giving you a definition and you have to fill in the blank of what it is. And they'll say something like, you know, when a person is, you know, believes that their race or ethnicity is a superior one, like what is that called? Now, we call it white supremacy, because well, the only form that we've truly seen that in on a mass scale is the European. But they want to reform that. They don't want you to think of it as white supremacy. So they want you to think of it as ethnocentrism, to make it seem like this is something that anybody's capable of, which is something that is very prominent today. This is like it is wrapped in different ways. You know, people like to say that like black people can be racist too. Um, but obviously, as we know, anybody with a brain would would be quick to say that racism involves you to have power. And as we know here in America, and really across any Europe, like you know the world that is European ran, uh, you know the black man is at the bottom of the totem pole. The black man does not matter. I mean, shit, we were the only group of people that was 3/5 of people person in their eyes. We were literally cattle to the white man at one point. I mean, I would argue that we still are in their heads, you know. And this is why this stuff is so dangerous, and why this kind of stuff bothers me, um, and why I'm even making this video to inform you guys that like, hey, look, like, it's in your faces. The shit is in your faces. They don't like you, and if you're in their spaces, is because you've shown them that you can be white enough. I don't think I made every point that I want to make in this video, but I think I kind of got the gist across of what I'm trying to say here, which is simply that if there's anything that you should take away from this video is question the European. Question what you're looking at. Ask simple questions. If something seems off to you, that's because something is off. Um, ask questions. Be curious. Stay seeking, you know?